Here we go. We're live. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the best hour of your life. No, not your life, of your day. Assuming your day is very, very mediocre. This is the Eric and Rodney show with Robin, where we chase fame on LinkedIn until we're too famous for this shit. Move on to a real social network like TikTok or OnlyFans. Today, speaking of mediocrity, we have Mr. Mediocre himself, the average dude, Daniel.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that line was kind of mean. I think mediocre and average are different, but I didn't write it, but I had to say it. The average dude introduced me to Lives, so the only reason we're here today is because of you. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome, Eric. You're welcome, public at large.
We didn't even know they existed.
I should be thanking you.
Yeah,
I had no idea they even existed. And Eric actually told me they started in 2019. Is that right, Eric?
Evidently. How long have you been doing it, Daniel?
I've been doing lives for about a year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
And absolutely love it.
So what does that tell us about the LinkedIn marketing team?
Yeah. What's that? yeah. Maybe that's the next gig. The LinkedIn marketing team. That sounds fun.
You're the only reason I know about it. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover the news here this morning because obviously we're qualified to do such things.
Yes.
Your opinion. Then we're going to go into your origin story because you're super famous online. Your show was sponsored, by the way, which is something that we aspire to.
Yes.
All right. So Robin, what are we touching on for the news here today?
All right. Well, today, boys, we'll be talking about your favorite store, Target, receiving backlash from the LGBT community. China and India both now speak against Russia's aggression in Ukraine. Abercrombie is back, and a recent essay by the Wall Street Journal is a college degree still worth it? Mm-hmm. So our first topic for today, Target is removing LGBTQ merchandise from all stores ahead of Pride Month. And reason being is because customers have shown aggression towards these items, ruining their displays, threatening staff to have them removed. And listen to this, you can't have a counter. The campaign was also launched by the LGBT community members to not have these items removed because it is an act of discrimination. So two sides and Target in the middle.
Does anybody else want to open? Because I have an opinion.
What are these items? These are T-shirts and hats and.
Yeah. What are the items? That's a good question.
Well, that's it. Like they're not sex toys. You know what I mean? They're not trying to indoctrinate you. They're just like, all Target's saying is, we're okay with LGBT, and it'd be like, no, you're not. No,
Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. These are just displays that have rainbows and things of this nature on the clothing, right?
Right. Yeah. I think so. Just a gentle acknowledgement that they're on their side.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm thinking, and I know what you're thinking. You're going, Eric, you're a liberal elite, leftist lunatic, but I think they might have a point because so if you're against LGBT causes, usually it has to do with religion, right? I mean that's because the Bible says. The Bible says in Leviticus 18:22, you shouldn't lie with a man as you would a woman. It's an abomination. Okay, but it doesn't end there. Leviticus also says that you shouldn't wear clothing woven of two different fabrics. If you touch a dead pig, it's unclean. And if you eat shellfish, it's an abomination. So Target not only supports the gays, but they sell leggings, they sell footballs, and I'm sure they sell frozen shrimp. So Target is the portal to hell. They
do sell frozen shrimp. They do.
So I think the right is totally on board. Like we're on the wrong side of history here. You think? I'm being facetious about this, but I do think that if you're mad due to biblical reasons, there's a lot of places that don't do this. You know what I'm saying? Like Red Lobster. Nobody's protesting Red Lobster, despite the vast amount of shellfish that they sell. That's also in Leviticus.
So they removed these clothing and these items because people were upset and they were showing their aggression by balling up the shirts and throwing it across the store, kicking the hat.
They were doing cashiers. Yes, they're very upset about this.
Wow. I mean, that's taking it next level. But Target says, hey, we don't want our stuff messed up. Now, you correct me, Robin, if I'm wrong here. Target says, okay, you're messing with our stuff. We don't want that to happen. So maybe it's better if we just remove it. And now we've pissed off another community. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And the backlash is even worse because you know how the LGBT community is they won't have it.
Right.
Eric, you're saying you're taking the side of removing these items?
No, I'm saying they if they want to go batshit crazy, they have a case. But the problem is they cherry pick the things they get upset about. You know what I mean? Like no one's protesting footballs, but it's in the same passage essentially as the thing that says that homosexuality is wrong. So you're not following the whole thing. You're just picking and choosing what your position was anyway, and then looking for reasons to justify your behavior. And they do it all the time, and it's aggravating as shit. Because the Bible says 10,000 batshit crazy things, but you only care about this one.
Rodney, what do you say?
I think it's just sheer foolishness. It's complete lunacy, all of it. I think that Target should do whatever they want, and I think people should not worry about this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I think everybody should just get along. You know what I mean?
Hey,
also, two other things. Robin said that Target was our favorite retailer. That's very presumptive. We may like Walmart. And the second piece is what is Robin wearing?
That's from Target. That's from the collection. Yeah,
okay.
Support.
No. In all seriousness, I think it's just complete crazy. It's completely crazy. Everybody should get along. Everybody should support each other, and it's just complete lunacy. They should have real problems to worry about.
Well, that's the thing.
I was just going to say that I'll have to agree with Rodney. It feels like everybody's kind of wants to have something to be upset about, right? Yeah. Wants to have an axe to grind. And if you want to have an axe to grind with the world and you want to find something that's unfair, you're going to find it. You're right. You're going to have something to get pissed off about. And I mean, life's too short, right? To be that pissed off about something like this.
That's right.
Well, I think it goes to show how comfortable we are. Like, if you're upset about Target's position on, homosexuality, your life's too easy. You know what I mean? Like, things are going.
You might not have any real problems, right?
Like right now, like kids are starving. You're like, no, that's not the concern.
That doesn't matter.
No. Have you heard the shirts that Target's selling? And that's the thing. Like, what kind of empty-lifed lunatic gets upset about this shit? Here's the other thing: go to Walmart. Walmart has none of this, I assume. Or
Kmart. Actually, Kmart's out of business, right?
Can't do that. Yeah.
Kmart, the blue light special. Kmart.
Right.
Those were good times, man.
Good times.
Go to the toys section in Kmart, man. You could spend forever in there looking for a good Tonka truck or something like that. Remember that?
Good times, yeah.
I like that you're a Kmart super fan. May they rest in peace. They never got involved in politics either. Kmart.
That's true. They didn't.
Yeah.
All right, so we're all pro Target. Robin, what's your opinion on this? Do you have issues like that in the Philippines? Do you have stores?
Yeah, no, I just have one question. So Target has these items that Walmart doesn't. Are there items in Walmart that Target doesn't have?
Yeah, guns.
Guns.
Walmart sells guns.
Well, I think the other thing to consider too is that the audience is maybe a little different.
The audience is significantly different, which is why I don't know why. In that they're a Republican audience. Go to Walmart. Go to Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Solves the issue.
Right.
But yes, Walmart sells guns. They don't sell LGBT guns. Average run-of-the-mill firearms.
Yeah.
Outrage.
All right, what's the next story?
All right. Second story of the day, very trending, and it has been trending for the last year. China and India have now both spoken to condemn Russia's aggression in Ukraine and have voted for the UN to put a stop to the war. Now, things are very wrong when even China and India have to say that human rights are being violated.
Mm-hmm. I think the funniest part about this story is in the article, they say only 5 countries oppose the resolution. You're never going to believe this. Russia was one of them. But then it's Belarus, Syria, Nicaragua, and North Korea. Like, those are the only allies they have left.
Good old North Korea is always good for a vote. Gets anything that makes sense, right?
It's just
everyone's starving and dying, and he's like, "We're going to get those nuclear weapons, and what are you going to do with them?"
North Korea is so predictably evil. Like, whatever's going on, they're like, "We're the worst version of that thing."
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
But I don't, even from China and India, and listen, I'm no political scientist, although that was my major. Why, if it's a global economy, why are you why is Russia your boy? You know what I mean? The rest of the world combined has a lot more money. You would think that that's where they would go.
I would also think that those 5 countries that protested, maybe excluding Russia, maybe including it now, probably are less than the United States GDP, right?
Right. So I just don't.
So I don't know if necessarily if monetary gain is their angle.
Yeah.
Which is confusing to me.
You don't think Belarus has a gigantic GDP?
No.
I don't even know where Belarus is.
I don't either. I think it's Russia's neighbor, and I think they were launching off something in Ukraine. You know what's oddly bizarre to me, and I'll get to the topic in a second, but oddly bizarre to me, and I'm just saying this, is that every time I turn around, I feel like Ukraine has suffered another problem or defeat or something, and then the presidents, they'll be like, well, he's at the Grammys tonight, and it's like, how did he get out? Like, how is he coming and going?
He was on David Letterman's show.
Yeah, right. Or like the other day, they were like, Vladimir Putin's in Ukraine. These guys just touring around. Like, I'm going to take the Jeep out for a little spell and see what's going on.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like, okay, so you take the 60s where we're murdering all sorts of political figures like RFK, JFK, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Everyone's dying. Why is this guy still alive? Like, Russia wants him dead and they can't. That seems weird. Not that I'm saying that Russia should kill him, but like he's the reason the world has garnered so much sympathy, right? He's a great leader, good on the microphone. He's doing a press tour. Why is he still alive if Russia wants him dead? Does anybody know?
Right, that's exactly my point. Like, wasn't he at the Met Gala? Right? They're
Seems
like,
like
he
an odd
just
time.
flew in for the night, and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. Russia, because didn't Russia like poison some guy and his daughter on a train?
Yes, they're very good at
I mean, those guys are like, James Bond level stuff.
Yeah, so why? Not that we're advocating that they kill him, but it just seems strategically like a dumb thing. Robin, don't you think?
They could say the same thing about Putin. Although I think you did hear the story that they tried to fly a drone into Moscow, right?
I did.
Assuming that Putin was there. So
that begs the question too. Like drones, why aren't we using them for assassinations more?
Yeah.
Doesn't that seem like the obvious thing to do? Can't you fly into a window with a gun? Do we know, Daniel?
Are we doing that? Are we not doing that? Do we know that we're not doing that?
I don't know.
I feel like if we've come up with the idea, they've already explored it. That's just off the top of my head, right?
You don't think that people tune in for military strategy?
They're like, wait, put down Art of War. These guys on.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. All right, what do we got for what's the next story?
Okay. So next story, Abercrombie and Fitch is back, like it's 1999.
Yeah.
So you guys know the brand was collapsing, probably because customers just realized that maybe it's not worth the exorbitant prices for some words in a moose. But now they're back. The moose is gone, and their shares are all the way up. Did you guys ever wear Abercrombie and Fitch?
I did.
Did you?
I actually, believe it or not, if I had known this story was coming out, I would have probably worn an old AF. Now, here's the thing that's interesting. There was a documentary on it a while back. I think the reason that Abercrombie didn't do so well in recent years might have been because of the catalogs. Remember the half-naked kids?
Yeah.
That's or when you go in the store, the guy looks like he literally just, he's standing around with his shirt off. And you're like, hey, fella, can you get me a medium? I don't know if that really is the tone people are going for these days. Perhaps.
No, we've the 90s were a wild time. Like, remember the Britney Spears video? The first, like, dressed her up as a schoolgirl and sexualized the shit out of her.
And you know what's oddly bizarre, speaking about Britney Spears, not to get off topic, is that her Instagram is oddly enough the same.
Yeah.
It's her dressing up in scantily clad clothes, dancing.
Right. Well, it worked.
Like no one's watching.
Yeah, that's her go-to move.
Yeah, dance
with what works.
Right.
I mean, is that what happens when you get freedom? Is you just make all these crazy videos of you dancing in 90s clothes?
Abercrombie did sexualize the shit out of children. And I think, did they mention that in the article at all? That might have been the reason
Did they gloss that over?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
So what are they doing now to advertise?
So I think before, like in the 90s, they really pitched themselves as like a very expensive brand. Now they're kind of shifting their strategy towards being like Hanes or like brands that are more affordable.
I mean, I don't remember them being that expensive growing up. I mean, back then, obviously $20 was a significant amount of money, but I don't ever remember being like, damn, I gotta really save up for some AF.
Yeah.
worked in Wall Street. So
No. This is when I was in high school. Not, I didn't wear this stuff when I was out. Yeah, come on, please. At that point, it was only handmade things.
Was Abercrombie big over in the Philippines? Did you have knockoff Abercrombie?
No, never has. There are a few stores here, but like it's like for the rich people status here.
Oh. Well, we had an Abercrombie knockoff. It was American Eagle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really?
Do you think if I committed a crime in the Philippines and I gave the cop an Abercrombie shirt that I could get off?
Probably, yeah.
That depends on the size. If it's the right size.
Abercrombie doesn't make sizes big enough for me. That's the other thing, is the average American cannot fit into an Abercrombie fit shirt.
Well, that's the thing you're missing. This is where you.
Yeah.
I got to bring you back. In Abercrombie, if you went in the store, they don't wear shirts. See, that's it, right? They don't wear anything. The guy's half naked. You're like, where's his clothes at? Are his clothes for sale? Did someone buy them?
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: the quality of the clothing at Abercrombie, I'm not familiar with it. Is it not high quality? I mean, if you pay the price, you want good quality, right? You want it to last a long time. Rodney, can you speak to the quality of the clothing?
I can tell you the shirts are still around, although my wife has really done her best to try to make them disappear. She still Team Sixes them every time they go to the wash, and I scoop them right out. I actually, believe it or not, I actually got one out of the trash bag a couple weeks ago. Like, how in the hell did you find? I said, I'm always watching.
You're not giving it up, are you?
No. One day it'll be worth $1 million, I'm sure.
Now, do they fit right, Rodney? Do they fit the arm?
They do. Well, you know what? That's actually the gauge. As long as they fit right, I know that I'm still on the right track.
Are you going to buy the new Abercrombie stuff?
No.
Are you back? No.
It seems too juvenile now for me.
It's the name you pay for. Maybe.
That's right.
Paying for the name. Is that worth it? Are we really that shallow that we need to pay for the name? I'm not saying that it's the bad thing, but is that what we should?
Yeah, that's usually right.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Makes you feel good about yourself, you know?
Or do any of us drive a Kia?
No.
No. Why would you? You know what I mean?
Hey.
I'm a car guy, but some stuff just isn't cool. All right, do we have what's are we done with Abercrombie? Oh,
See, now you got to be careful with that comment, Eric. What if the average dude drove a Kia? What am I supposed to do with that? I'm screwed, man.
I would have done. Listen, I'm doing you a favor. You should be driving a Kia. I'm sorry.
What's wrong about driving a Kia? Because in the Philippines, if you're driving a Kia, it means you're rich.
Oh,
No, I have got to move to the Philippines.
We have very, very different cultural opinions. But what's wrong with the Kia?
They're cheap.
What?
They're the most inexpensive car here, I would say, probably. Like maybe a Honda. I don't know how much Honda Accords are, but they're like less expensive than a Honda. And Hondas used to be relatively inexpensive.
Okay.
but a Honda's a good, solid car. Good, solid vehicle.
I was watching Brittany's Instagram.
I don't want to divert from the Kia thing, but I will say this: if you told 16-year-old me that someday Britney Spears would be naked on some sort of platform and I could watch it for free, absolutely I would do that. So, come on, man, she's our age now. It's not like she's still.
That's true. That's true. She's young. I mean, she's old now.
She's 45, dancing around on Instagram. I'm not gonna watch. That's crazy.
Speaking of Britney Spears, there is a interesting internet theory that Britney Spears has been dead for a long time. And there was a video circulating on the internet where, you know, how she's always dancing on her Instagram. So like she was dancing with her crazy clothes and whatever. And there was a frame where her hand passed her face like this. And you could see that her face was very altered and it looked like her sister. So
it looked what?
There's an internet theory saying that perhaps Britney Spears has been her sister for a number of years, and Britney Spears has been dead since like.
Oh wow! Well, they're able to do so many things with AI now. I think that's going to happen more and more, right? We tune into these people's lives through the internet, and they can generate. And I've seen the Tom Cruise lookalike, or I don't know how they're doing it, right? But it looks like Tom Cruise. So I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of rumors started with this fake technology stuff.
What's the
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like the flat earth thing, right? Like, okay, why are they lying to us about the earth being round if indeed it's flat? Like, why are we faking Britney Spears being alive? Would society collapse if Britney Spears was dead? Like,
I mean, maybe.
I just don't
Rodney
understand.
wouldn't know what to do with his time.
Yeah.
I would be lost.
His life, what is his
I would
point?
be completely lost.
Yeah, Paul McCartney died in the 60s, right?
That's right.
Tupac's still alive, Elvis. I just don't
Yeah, he's
can't be
teaching
this
school,
upset.
I heard.
There's a lot of these ones, yeah.
What about these conspiracy theories? There's a lot of them. The flat earth guy, we interviewed Flat Earth Dave, who was like the leader of the flat earth movement.
Oh my God.
That was an interesting conversation.
Do you know what the point is? Like, what are they trying to prove and why? I know they're trying to prove, but why is NASA lying to us?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's Dave, I don't know if he actually believes it or not, right? I think it's a way to get attention and to kind of, poke people and get people frustrated and mad. And he's got this following, and some people may believe it, some people may not. But that was the question I asked. Why are we faking this? How do we, so it's amazing though. And people can make a really good defense of anything. All these conspiracy theories, including the World Trade Center, they've got, somebody with video and a good voice, and they say, look at here, look at this, and they'll pick it apart. And OJ's innocent, I mean.
The only thing I can say about conspiracy theories is Watergate. Like if they didn't catch those guys red-handed and somebody was like, you know what they're doing, and they would, oh, they would never do that. Like sometimes it's true.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a slippery slope. Sometimes it's true. That's the very reason that these, it's kind of that reasonable doubt. What is reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Right.
To me, it's not reasonable to say that OJ was innocent.
Yeah. I do like that. So I call myself America's sweetheart to annoy people, but it doesn't do as good of a job as the average dude, which seems to annoy the shit out of people. Flat Earth Dave is a way better nickname than any of us have. Like if you want to piss people off,
That's really good.
Flat Earth Dave is fucking great.
Flat Earth Dave, and man, he was a personality too. Let me tell you. So
All right, we're gonna get him on here. I'm gonna agree with him too. I'm gonna be like, listen, man, I've looked into it.
Oh God, he will try to convert you. Oh, y'all definitely need to have him on. That would be a lot of fun.
We're gonna argue with Rodney and Robin. It's gonna be a tag team match.
Robin's
Assuming
gonna
you
wear
guys
a furry
think
costume.
This guy's still around spewing this nonsense.
What's that?
Oh, there's whole communities of people. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean Kyrie Irving believes it, and he plays basketball.
Yes.
He's smart.
Yeah. Got it.
So if I have a Kia and $50, I'm rich and I can commit any crime I want.
That's right. And an Abercrombie shirt.
And I
yeah.
what to do with this.
Wow. Yeah.
Daniel, there's no cream cheese over in the Philippines, so we're gonna start a cream cheese factory.
Oh man.
Yeah, and buy some Kias. I would. Is he? He should be.
Is he?
No,
I think he was from Creed, right?
Yeah, I heard he was
Wasn't he-
homeless. I didn't know he was dead.
Wait, I wonder if he did go. Did he go with arms wide open?
You're fired.
Who's writing these things?
Okay, should we move on from? Do we have one last story to cover? Right?
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is from a recent Wall Street Journal essay, which talks about is having a college degree still worth it? So majority of young adults have now argued that it's a waste of time. And companies are now only hiring based off of skill, soft skills in particular.
What a crazy thing to hire on skill.
Doesn't make any sense.
if you interview well, if you're good in interviews, then I don't think you need for most jobs, unless it's a technically focused job. If you interview well, then you don't necessarily need one, because sales jobs, they're going to want to see what they're getting, what they're hiring. And so if you interview well, you're probably good.
Yeah.
And I'll say one more thing about this. I think, folks, some of these blue collar type trades are the best path to entrepreneurship. Like become a plumber, become become something like this and just do it better than everybody else. Comb your hair, brush your teeth, show up to work every day, hire the right people. You know, you can. I think there's probably, if I had it to do over again, get your HVAC license. Right? It's
You'd be the average plumber, although that wouldn't fly.
Plumber. Live an average.
The standard plumber. The standard by which all others are measured.
Yeah.
Well, they can't offshore blue collar jobs. And AI can't do blue collar jobs, so it's pretty safe. But I do think with college, it's a cost benefit thing. And when college was $5,000 a year, I think it made all the sense in the world. But like now, the average college cost around here is like $70,000 to $80,000 a year. That's batshit crazy. And I don't think that it's that many times better than it was when it was $5,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's a goddamn scam. Here's the other thing that bothers me about college. Every subject takes 4 years to master. Every one of them takes exactly 4 years.
Yeah, just 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Daniel. I think that you only have to have a degree if it's industry specific. For example, if you're going to be doing any doctoring or lawyering, although I got to be honest, with some of the stuff I've seen in AI now, I don't know how essential general law will be, but
yeah.
With surgeries and whatnot, in medicine, I think you need a degree. But yeah, I agree. I think a lot of stuff. The other thing too, what is it? Malcolm Gladwell, he says you have to do something for 10,000 hours to be an expert.
Yeah.
4 years isn't 10,000 hours, isn't it? 5 years?
Well, the other thing is you don't only take the courses that you're you know what I mean? Like any coursework, like I was a political science major, I still had to take math classes. Why?
You mean the horseback riding class I took at Carolina didn't work out? No.
Hey, and with YouTube and all of the free educational sources out there, I think there's plenty of opportunity to learn whatever it is that you need to learn without going to college. And we only need to know whatever it is that we're doing, right? I mean, it's nice to know things and be knowledgeable, but at the end of the day, we've got Google, right? And so regurgitating facts and things like that, well, it's right here. I can do that here. So if I just know my job and know what I need to do to perform each day, then I think you could argue that would be a smarter path.
Speaking of Malcolm Gladwell, he has a 4-part series on his podcast, Revisionist History, about the American collegiate system. And it's a goddamn nightmare. The endowments that some of these, Harvard, for example, has hundreds of millions of dollars sitting in their bank account. And why? Because they can. It's like going to the vet. We worship education in this country. So you have to go to college, no matter the cost. Just like when you bring your cat in, they're like, oh, it's got a gallbladder issue. Like, it's either $2,000 to fix it, or we could kill him for $300. Like, all right.
But either way, you got to pay us, and it's by the minute.
You have me over a barrel, I have to give you the money, and that's the way we've conditioned children in this country, that you have to go to college and get $500,000 in debt for crazy.
Well, I'm going to ask because I'm ignorant, but can we safely say that white collar jobs in America make more than blue collar jobs?
Yes. Well,
no. Well, some of them.
Okay.
It depends.
Okay. Because in the Philippines, you don't even need a trade school or a degree if you're going to become a plumber or electrician. You just have to know how to do it. And it's quite sad because these are the people that are getting paid minimum wage.
Oh
no! Here, plumbers. Listen, you call it. You want to know if you want to understand economics? Call a plumber on Saturday morning. $1,000 later, they're like, something's leaking. And how do I fix it? Well, it's Saturday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you can be the plumber that doesn't have a hangover on Saturday morning, and you can pick up that call and make that call, that's what I mean. That's can have a successful plumbing business for sure.
That's exactly right. Like, no one's going to call up and be like, hey, listen, you know what? I know it's 3:00 in the morning on a Saturday, but I really need you to build me a website.
I don't know. I don't know what Becky disagrees with. She's going to have to be more specific. These things come in. Yeah. So in the Philippines, the blue collar, like if we need a plumber, they're making minimum wage.
Yeah. And most people that actually do plumbing work here aren't necessarily plumbers. They're just people that have a real regular job, and then they do plumbing on the side.
Wow.
But do they even know how to do plumbing?
They do. That's the thing. But it's just,
how did they learn? Just a bunch of clogs and.
Well, it's really just water Legos, isn't it? You just connect all the.
Everything goes downhill. Yeah.
That's right.
I think we figure that out.
I mean, I'm a moron when it comes to fixing anything. Even if I see a video, I'm like, it seems too complicated.
Yeah, but if you really wanted to figure it out, Rodney, I bet you could, couldn't you?
Well, maybe. But I always find, you know what I always find? And I used to use it on my mom when I was younger when she would want me to clean my room. And I would say, well, Bill Gates says, right? Now I think to myself, Bill says that, you know what, instead of me trying to figure out how to repair the roof, let's just get the roof guy out here.
Right.
See if he can help us out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do your electricians have side jobs? Like anything? You're just fucking with electricity?
Yeah, most of the time they're just fucking with electricity.
Wow.
So that's what I mean, right? It's trial and error. It's like, no, that one was wrong. The movement's not going to work, guys. We got to go to the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little more dangerous with the electricity.
So if you ever come to Asia and you go on the streets, the wiring is atrocious. Like it's just like a jungle of like electric wires and posts all over the place.
I think we got to get your electricians a college degree and figure that shit out.
Is all the wiring done underground?
Here?
Yeah.
No.
No, it's all above ground.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we're just as dumb.
We like light poles and lines because obviously no trees would ever hit them.
No.
Do any of us have kids in college? Daniel, your kids are older, right?
Yeah, they're older, but not there yet. Right around the corner.
It's horrifying though, right? Like, what are you going to do? It's going to cost you $500,000.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I don't like to think about it. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, no problem.
We're going to ruin your day.
What about, is it free in the Philippines?
If you're smart enough, you can get a scholarship.
It's free anywhere if you're smart enough. My God. If you're smart enough, you don't even need it, right? You might be like Matt Damon and Good Will Hunting.
So the biggest state college is free in the Philippines, but then you have the other big three, which are quite expensive, but nowhere compared to like U.S. Ivy League schools for sure.
Oh yeah, I think Harvard. I think is 80, 90 or something like that. It's like crazy a year.
Okay. Well, in the Philippines, it's probably like $2,000 a year.
Wow, that is what we would spend on books a semester when I was in school.
That's how much a Kia costs.
Yeah,
$2,000.
You know what's funny though? I want to ask you guys because I was talking about this a couple of days ago while we were on education. Have you guys ever met people that are like their career is education? And here's what I mean, right? Like I met this guy one time and he had like 4 PhDs, and I'm like, where's his cap and gown in the car?
Yeah, I know.
Like he must have like $500 million in debt. Like what's going on? And he's like, well, you know, once I finish this, I'm going to get another degree. And I'm thinking like, wow, you know, what's happening here?
Right.
I think a lot of times people just keep going to school.
Yeah, that's right. And interestingly, we interviewed a guy with a really super high IQ, and he was kind of explaining once you get to a certain point, it doesn't correlate with how much money you make, right? Intelligence level doesn't correlate with how much money you make. And so a lot of times what happens with these super smart people, they just love to consume information and they, you know, and learn. Not to saying anything's wrong with that. I'm just saying, you know, their focus isn't on making money. Their focus is on learning new stuff, right?
Yeah, it's true.
But how do they afford to learn new stuff if they're not making money?
Loans.
Yeah. The Gladwell thing also, he had a great point. So he was talking about history majors. He goes, every college in the country has a history major program probably, right? But there's only like 50 jobs every year that open up for people that need history degrees, and that's teaching history. So it's a Ponzi scheme. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you going to do with there's not that many history jobs. So we probably shouldn't let people get degrees in history and get them, $500,000 in debt.
You could get a job though at Barnes & Noble.
But
they like to read, right?
Oh, that's the other thing. We're asking an
that's a good
18-year-old to sink $500,000 into some shit they just they think they might have an interest in.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, I actually went to college when I was only 16 because in the Philippines we only had 4 years of high school. So even if we think 18 is bad, people in the Philippines had to make that decision when they're 16.
Wow.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
When I was 16, I wanted to be a quarterback. So yeah, I mean, that would have made sense.
Oh goddamn! She just roasted history majors.
Yeah, right. You know what? You know another thing though, while we're on education.
Oh wow!
Wow. Oh my God. Yeah, one other thing I'd say about education is that I think a lot of people confuse education with how to make money.
Right.
And I think, like I was saying to somebody a while back, the guys like I was talking about going back to school. And I said, yeah, you absolutely should go back to school. I said, but I think the problem is, are you going to make more money if you go back to school? And he's like, not necessarily. I said, then you're just wasting money.
Yeah.
Right. So like with me, I always concern myself on how to make money rather than how intelligent I was or how many degrees I had. Like, I think knowing how to make money is paramount. And then you can have as many degrees as you want.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably good.
I also think that sort of like the people that go to college, like back to college later in life, once they figured things out, that makes a lot more sense. Just like the second marriage, like you know what you're doing the second time around. So
Yeah. That's
don't you
true.
think, Robin, you on your first marriage yet?
I have no experience when it comes to that. But I mean,
if you're gonna get on to the second one, you better get going now.
Yeah. You got to start somewhere.
because I have to be sure the first time around.
Oh, that's right. Holy shit, we forgot.
Oh, that's right.
You know
Yeah.
that divorce is illegal in the Philippines. You cannot.
Whoa. Divorce is illegal.
The only country on the planet where divorce is illegal.
What is the punishment?
Death.
Well, jail first. Death because
Straight to jail.
Yeah.
Straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $100. You got divorced.
Yeah.
You went to college at 14. You were married by 18, and you better not get divorced. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I know, right? To this question, I value learning and growth, but you got to pay for shit, right? Like, don't you have to make money? Isn't that?
Yeah. I'm not insinuating you got to be rich. I'm just saying you got to learn how to make money. Like, I meet a lot of people, right? For example, that are relatively intelligent and they have absolutely no idea how to make money, right? Because they don't know how to convert whatever their skill or service is or whatever it is they do into an asset, right? Or something that you can sell.
Yeah.
All they need is they need spam and marketing services. So
Exactly. That's right.
mhm.
Right. I mean, I think if folks can do, not that I can, not that the average dude can, but if folks can do what he's talking about and convert their skills into making money, you don't need the high IQ, right? You need to know what it is. You need to know how to plumb, right?
Right. That's exactly right. Plumbing is the answer.
And I do think everyone needs a starter spouse because you don't know what you're doing. You got to practice.
Starter pack, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Right.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be so expensive. Like the first one should be for free. The whole thing, the divorce. You know what I mean?
Well, relationships are hard, are they not? I mean, is that an unpopular opinion?
I think they are. Robin, one question for you really quick though is so there's no divorce lawyers in the Philippines. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, no. So you have something called annulment. I'm sure you also have that in the U.S. But particularly, there are no lawyers that really label themselves as divorce lawyers. We don't have that.
We have a lot here.
Didn't you say you can get an annulment if you haven't consummated the marriage? Is that the lie that they go, well, we haven't slept together, so it doesn't count?
I think that's like a loophole. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he hasn't tried.
And I don't plan to.
Yeah, that's good. So you're a one and done guy, right?
He's gonna have to.
I'm hoping.
Okay. Yeah, well, I hope it works out for you.
You're still hoping, right?
Yeah.
Black market. Yeah, there's all kinds of things we can bring.
There's a market for it.
Mm-hmm. Do we got anything else on college? Have we all decided that it's a scam?
We've all decided we're going to stop doing whatever we're doing and go plumbing.
I think that's the message for the day.
Don't become a plumber. Stop whatever you're doing. Get out.
All right. Well, we covered a lot of news here today. So, Daniel, here's the thing. So I said in the beginning, you're the reason that we're doing this live, right? It's spread the word, and you should be in charge of LinkedIn Live's marketing, clearly.
Well, that's the great thing about being on LinkedIn. I ran into your profile. I said, I want to interview this guy. So I brought you on to our podcast live, Jenny Winnie and the Average Dude. And hey, how else would we connect, right? I mean, Eric Ryan up in Boston, America's sweetheart, and the Average Dude in South Carolina. Come on. I mean, that's
South Carolina. I'm from
as
North
random as
Carolina.
it gets. What's that?
It's not for the
North
magic
Carolina.
of LinkedIn.
What's that, Rodney?
I know. I said I'm originally from North Carolina, so.
Oh, okay. Hey,
good to see
Southern
you.
boy.
Yeah.
Robin, too. You're from North Carolina, aren't you?
Robin's from the mean streets of Manila.
It's very. That rope's killing me.
I've actually been to the States, so I'm very ignorant on some like American topics.
All right. They're from the South. They lost the war. You don't remember the big war we had where the two America fought each other? They lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. NBA plumbing.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but America actually, like, Philippines was part of America for about 100 years. We were under.
Oh,
I did not know that.
Which 100 years? And why did we give you back?
It was when the like after the Japanese were defeated in the Philippines, America took over.
Oh, we took over for a little while?
Yeah, you guys did. Which is why our most popular sport in the Philippines is basketball, and we also had the same schooling system as the U.S.
Oh my God, are you good at basketball collectively? How are you at basketball? How's your crossover?
I know I'm terrible at basketball, which is funny because like the average Filipino is like 5'2". What is basketball?
Yeah, I haven't seen any Filipino basketball. I was just saying if there are any NBA players, and I was thinking no. Not off the top of my head.
I don't mean this to be insulting, but since you're all 5'2", do they lower the net so you can dunk?
I don't know. I don't think it's possible to like dunk.
Yeah, no one in the Philippines has ever dunked. I mean, 5'2", that's a jump, man. Anyway, Daniel, can you tell us your journey to average dudehood? Because I think you had a period in your life before you were the average dude.
I did. I
Average
spent
dude.
20 years out in the wilderness trying to find myself.
All right. So can you give us the superhero origin story of pre-average dude, the average dude, and what the average dude wants to do moving forward?
Yeah. So the average dude, I started calling myself the average dude when I decided to do a podcast. And the podcast came after a personal growth kind of, I was almost 40 years old. And someone kept reaching out to me on LinkedIn. I was just going through the motions, showing up for work, no real drive or initiative to do anything. I had a sales job, and someone reached out to me, and of course I gave this victim story of what could have been, what might have been, et cetera, et cetera. And she kind of called me out on my bullshit, right? Mm-hmm. And she said, well, what about starting now, right? And I said, well, that's an interesting way to look at it. And she said the right words at the right time. And when I think back to that moment, it still brings kind of an emotion to me. That's the only way I know how to describe it, right? So I was going through a divorce, and so I decided to start, going into Barnes & Noble, grabbing the personal development books, reading all of those, going to Toastmasters, working on my communication skills, and started meeting people that were mentors, and all of the things that you hear that happen when you start doing the right things. It's not really rocket science. And so the journey continues. I started the podcast, and the way that the average dude came up, someone that day had said, man, you're just kind of like the average dude, aren't you? And at the time it kind of like, man, was he cutting on me or what? Right. I sat down and I said, you know what? He's kind of right. I kind of am the average dude, when I really look at it. And so I said, what are we going to call the podcast? I said, how about and I'm talking to myself. I said, conversations with the average dude. And so then I started kind of playing off of that, and really it's, I think there's more that I can kind of tell about the story and more I can play off of, because I think we're all average dudes at the end of the day. Yeah. And part of becoming self-aware is really seeing all that talent that's out there. We don't want to see all the people that make us feel insecure about where we hang our hat. So whatever it is we hang our hat on, if we see someone else that has a higher hat rack, well then, oh no, that's what I do. And it's kind of that sense of identity.
Yeah. And so the point is that despite us being average dudes, we can still do great things. Is that the sort of the message that's built into this?
That's right. And that we're all have that commonality of being a human being, and we're all in the same process, or the progress and growth, or what actually feel good, right? The guy that's topped out, it might be ahead in the game. He's looking for that excitement, that adrenaline that comes with growth. It's like somebody that first goes into the gym, they're making all these gains and they're feeling great. They're energized to go to the gym. So in a certain kind of way, starting late for me has been a plus because you have this kind of new energy, I would call it, right? It's fun to be making progress when people that have been driven their entire career. And Rodney, I don't know his backstory, but maybe that was the case for Rodney. He's been making money, been doing great things. And so he's kind of like, well, what's the next adventure? For me, I've got that new, the progress is new and I've got plenty of room for it. Yeah. So, but it's been great. I love the public speaking and that's what I'd like to do more of. And the stories aren't about these great accomplishments. The stories are about average dude type stuff, right? I'll tell one of the stories that I tell is the 50-yard dash story. So I hung my hat in elementary school. I was always the fast kid. And I guess I kind of am still pretty fast, but I always hung my hat on being the fast runner. Well, this particular year in field day, this new kid that had just come to the school, my friends, they just knew that the average dude was going to win this race, right? And so they're giving me all the validation. And I look over and there's this new kid and I'm thinking, well, no problem. PE teacher blows the whistle and this guy takes off. And I mean, he is fast, right? He's just blowing me out of the water. And so I took off and about halfway down the track, I said, well, I can either, finish the race doing my best and come take my red ribbon and be happy with that. Or I could fall and fake an injury. and so I decided to take a fall in the 50-yard dash. Yeah. And so obviously there's a story to that, right? I mean, there's ways to play off that, but I'll tell stories like that from my past and try to be real about it. And that's kind of that's the average dude's game.
I like it. And you said something, like the thing you're into is like the nervousness before you go on stage. Like you're still finding thrills in the thing because you're pretty straight edge now, right? Like, you're all in on self-development.
I am. I mean, it doesn't mean, I think one of the things I talk about, ultimately, if we overcome our own psychology, if we can overcome ourselves, we're successful. I mean, sure. So much pain is self-created. And so for me, it was working through why am I it's overcoming myself. We'll say it that way, right? We all have trauma. Trauma is passed down to us, and we're all products of our environment. And for me, it was overcoming those things. And they talk about being your best self, et cetera, et cetera. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's me versus me every single day. And for me, that means overcoming my temptations, my flaws, the patterns that I've used in the past to escape myself, et cetera, et cetera.
I'm not there yet. I love temptations. They're my favorite. You know what's great is the feeling of feeling tempted and then doing the thing you're tempted for. I'm not where you are. I'm still back here, but someday.
Yeah, no. I'm not anywhere. I'm day to day. Every day is the same thing. But I can tell you when you do the right thing, whatever the right thing is for you, right? It's always subjective. Then you feel better and you have a better energy, and I think people can sense that.
Speaking of which, so in your family or in your friends, like people have noticed the change in you since you like this sort of a sea change moment, right? When you had this conversation and then you started doing all this stuff, like has your life changed in totality?
It has. And I mean, I guess that there's these little kind of checkpoints, for me, where I am now is where don't hit me with a good time of week. We all are, Melissa.
That's the fundamental issue with my life. Yes.
But it's not about, it's whatever that good time is for folks, right? And I think it changes with everybody. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a dramatic change, but people I'll say people can tell the difference mainly from your energy, right? If you have good energy, people can tell that you're overcoming your own kind of personal demons.
Yeah.
Robin, in the Philippines, do you have this thing? So in the United States, we're a big self-development country. Like if you go to the Barnes and Nobles, for example, that section has 1 billion books. Are you guys into this thing that we are into?
Yeah.
Like books get better kind of stuff.
It's into the whole Target thing where we're very comfortable. So now we're trying to achieve, self-actualization through doing all the right things.
Yes. Good word.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's getting towards that realization, but like self-betterment and like some people who have mental health problems and they need to seek help from a therapist, that's actually still shunned upon in the Philippines.
Oh
Like,
shit! Oh, we're
Now, here's the other question: are the therapists licensed,
oh yeah, there are a lot of
or are they just like the plumbers?
yeah. They're they work at Home Depot during the day, and then at night they therapize.
They're plumbing during the day, and then at night they listen to your troubles.
Yeah. Now I will say something about Robin that I appreciated. You know, it's so hard for us to, and this is something that I talk about a lot. It's so hard to say we don't know, right? You said earlier you were ignorant on the subject, and I'm ignorant on a lot of things, right? And the only way we know that is when we can admit that. But that allows us to get in the rooms with people that know more, that do more, et cetera, et cetera. And when we're not afraid to say we don't know, then it really opens up opportunities. So I appreciated when you said that, Robin.
Thank you.
Rodney, you do you're a little self-development-y, right? Like your workout routine is unbelievable. What do you do every day? 100 squats, 100 push-ups? Like,
Yeah, I have like a workout routine. Yeah. Well, I would say this too. You nailed it with that. Is that I think the key to being successful is figuring out a handful of things that work and do them every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I typically eat the same meals every day.
Yeah.
I typically do the same workout every day. Not the same workout, but pretty same. And I talked to Robin about that. Like, I think that's the secret to success in business. And you're right. It is a little bit self-development-y.
Yeah. But it's atomic habits-y, right? You just have to keep stacking things on top, which is why we're going to do this every day until this shit's watchable.
That's right. We're going to keep stacking.
Yeah.
Keep stacking, baby.
Hey, keep chipping away. I did a video this morning about, and that same thing with our podcast. I mean, you've got this block of ice, and you know how on the cruise ship they have the ice sculptor, and you're like, what is he making? That looks like nothing. And then it's this beautiful swan at the end. Yeah. But if you're not artistic like me, you say, well, I'm going to just chip away, and maybe it starts looking like something.
Exactly.
Right? You just start shaving away. And then if you have nothing, bring me a new block of ice. We just start over again.
That's
you
right.
know? And so I think with things like you guys are doing, I think it's awesome. And the more we chip, the more we can see, and we step back. But it takes that action to really start figuring it out.
And I don't want to kiss all of our asses, but it's one thing to be
go ahead.
Okay, here we go. It's one thing to be willing to fail and look stupid at something in the pursuit of getting better. It's another thing to do that like in the public eye, which, listen, thousands of people aren't watching us, but we are sucking in public a lot of times. But I think that's how you get, really good. You got to get on, if you're a comedian, you got to get on stage. If you play sports, you got to get in front of people. So that's what we're doing.
I agree with you. I mean, it's tough to do it in the public eye and to shave the ice and for people to say, what in the hell is he making? Right? I mean, that looks like nothing. He doesn't even know what he's doing. So that's tough. But now something that Rodney said earlier, and I think it's important, if you're not worried about anything else other than making money, right? You're focused on that. It's not about validation. It's about, because validation doesn't pay the bills. Likes don't pay the bills. Yeah, and if you're like, I'm focused on making money and that's what's important, the validation will come, the success will come. But now how do you balance those things, Rodney, when you're trying something like this? This isn't a big money maker unless I'm missing something just yet. How do you balance that?
Right.
I just want to have some fun with my friends.
There you go.
No, I agree with you. I think that's true. I always look at it as like, I think it was probably my mom. My mom taught me this, but I always looked at it as like, she's like, you can do whatever you want to do with your life, right? Like I remember when I was younger, I wanted to be an actor, and I was like, I want to be an actor, and she's like, I think you should be one. I think that's great. She's like, but you need to learn how to make money so you can support that. I was like, well, I'll make millions of dollars an actor. She goes, maybe not. But either way, she's like, you're gonna have to pay the bills. She's like, so you're gonna have to figure out how to do something until you become, Rob Lowe or somebody famous. And
Rob Lowe, that'd be a good one.
So with me, right, I've always focused on, and like these guys know me for a while, but I always try to focus on what's going to make money, because I don't necessarily feel like making money is the point, but without money, you can't really, what can you do, right?
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's a good way to look at it.
So
Rob Lowe, that was it too. I knew you looked like somebody.
He just got accused of being Rob Lowe on a cruise. So
really? Yeah. Yeah, I don't get things like that. I wish that happened to me.
Well, here's the other thing about this. This is what I said when I went on your show. You're very not average because you're 7'5", right? And you're gigantic.
I only look tall. Jenny, you know, she's not.
How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
You know what you should do? No, you're like 6'5". You should go to the Philippines and start playing basketball.
I should. I could. I play center. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I want to play center on a 9-foot goal in the Philippines, and they will think I'm a rock star.
If you're like Billy Madison when he plays dodgeball with the kids, that'd be you.
Yeah.
Out there dunking on people.
Oh yeah. Did y'all ever play basketball on a 9-foot goal? That is so much fun. Oh my goodness. That is
satisfying.
Yeah, it is.
So what you want to do is you want to speak more, right?
Yeah.
How many? You just got your first sponsorship on your show, so you're headed in that direction.
Just got the first sponsorship, getting more speaking opportunities, and I've done 2 paid speeches thus far, and that was a cool experience. And I'd love to do more of those, and just keep working, and really, you know, it's not about I really believe it's not about the technical side of it. It's about being more comfortable where we could be ourselves in front of an audience. You know. I mean, just being able to be and say it like it is, say it like you feel it. That's my angle, right? As the average dude, it's not about having I'm not going to come up with some formula or something that people that haven't heard before. It's going to be about being more comfortable and being relatable as the average dude.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. It's almost 11, so we're almost done. But so you've been doing LinkedIn Lives for about a year, you said?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been doing those other sort of one-off videos in the morning that you shoot.
Yeah.
As 3 people trying to get LinkedIn famous, do you have any advice for us?
Oh, I am by far. I mean, there are people out there that really know what they're doing.
They won't talk to us.
If I had the time and the initiative and the drive to really become LinkedIn famous, it's really a lot about interacting with other people's posts, because what happens, it's that reciprocity or whatever we want to say. You like their post, in all likelihood, they're going to like yours. It's real hard to go in there with and be selfish. And I just don't have time to go out there and to consume other folks' content necessarily. But there is a lot of, you like mine and I'll like yours type situation. And so that, being more involved in the community, I think probably drives a lot of these numbers.
Okay. So we have to talk to people. Is that what you're saying?
You have to speak to
people. All right. If you say
we have to do something, is that what you're saying?
It's like, I thought we could do this, but evidently not. Fuck.
You asked me the question. That's all I got.
No, I think unfortunately you're probably right.
Yeah,
that's funny. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How many people do you have in your LinkedIn inbox right now talking to themselves?
Talking to themselves? What do you mean? I'm sorry.
No. Like I have one right now where there's like 15 messages that this person has sent me, and it's like, "Hey Rodney, just following up from last week. Whatever. I don't know what they're trying to sell me, but it's like a 45-page email."
Oh yeah. Well, I get those. I don't get those a lot. I hear a lot of people talking about those, but I do get folks that reach out, and most of the time it's folks from all over the place. Hey, I liked your video and that sort of thing. So I end up having nice conversations.
Well, that's good. We don't get anything like that. It's like, hey, I want to touch you about your phone system.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of the internet, right?
Hey, Rodney, they probably assume you have money and they know that the average dude doesn't. So they're like, there's a little more meat on the bone with you.
Yeah, or the best is when they're like, we want to talk to you about getting your office cleaned.
Yeah.
I don't have an office, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen.
Well, it's been fun. Thank you.
Yeah, no, this is great. Thank you, because I only asked you yesterday to be on today, and I know you have your own show. Do you want to plug it?
Yes, 11:30. Jenny, Winnie, and the Average Dude. We have another sponsor today, and we've got a great guest. I've never met this guy, so I saw him on Twitter. I think he's got some interesting tweets, and so I love that kind of unknown. We're gonna have to get him on the show and find out who he is.
All right, perfect.
I like it.
So, can you give me the name of the flat earther, because I really want him on this show?
I will. I will send you. I will look back at my stuff. I think I still have his contact information, and I think you should. I think y'all have a blast.
I know we both know the average dude, and we both know the earther.
Hey,
I'd love to have you on the show.
I've got 1 minute to tell you. When I had Flat Earth Dave on the show, I had better numbers on that show than I've had on any. So
that's the Jerry Springer thing. Jerry Springer used to have reasonable guests and talk about reasonable things, and as soon as they start beating the shit out of each other, his ratings skyrocketed. So.
That's a secret. We got to have people beating the shit out of each other.
Hey, I think y'all would have a good time with him on there. I could tell the vibe would be right, and y'all could have a lot of fun with that. So I'll try to find his number for you.
Yeah,
Eric.
please do. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. I'll let you go. Go have fun with your show.
All right, guys. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.